So today we're going to speak about nothing. Not that the other days we had something in mind. So we're gonna start with the last point I was trying to make the other day. I need to find you need a system. In order to be successful, you need a system. Today I'm gonna teach you how. Uh, if you think about it, again, everything around us is systems, patterns, routines, habits. Now, you either jump on a positive pattern that eventually will amount to something that would last throughout the time, or at least to a certain time, to a certain extent, because I guess most of things are temporary, right? It depends on what we're talking about, but at least to a certain extent, it has a certain, it is bound to give you some sort of satisfaction to you have something to take out of it, right? So if you don't focus on these things, inevitably you're gonna self-sabotage yourself, or you get distracted. You just create unhealthy habits, and therefore inevitably it's like a domino effect where you start small and it goes down, right? One thing brings another, like hanging with the wrong people. Might be a good man, maybe there's good potential in you. You hang in with the wrong people and you end up killed, or you end up in jail. And or you, or something like that. You end up destroying yourself, stuff like that. So, your health. So, I guess, first of all, you need to be aware. You raise your awareness level to the point of understanding what's good for you and what is not. Now, when you have some guidance, obviously it's a lot easier because all you have to do is to listen, really, right? But if you ain't got no guidance, then even if you want to, you will eventually reach a point where you're going to waste a lot of time finding the right thing for you, right? Me as a Christian, obviously, I look for guidance from God because that's my source of inspiration. But everyone is different, so maybe you look up to your father, maybe you look up to your brother. I don't know. I guess even if you find a mentor, even if you find some sort of guidance, that's still better than having no guidance, trying to figure things by yourself. But if you figure things by yourself, one thing is for sure, that's you, okay? You got all the knowledge, all the experience, and it comes from inside. Because naturally, you'll incline to do what's best for you, right? So then you take decisions that make sense for you. And then you put your mind to work, and then you develop a technique, develop a strategy. Eventually, it could be respected, considered by others as well. So when you reach, for example, a certain level, you are obliged to have your own technique, your own method. Okay, so if you start early on that road, clearly you're gonna have early on your own method of doing things, right? Even though there are some rules you understand, even though that system is in place wherever you go, still, when it comes from you and you're not just obeying, it is respected, it's still appreciated because that's you. And actually, nowadays, you will find a lot of people that look for people that comes from themselves. And I guess the hardest thing to do nowadays is to match the people, the right people, to put the right people together. That's the difficult part because most of people are actors. Most of them they will just pretend for a reason or another. They lie to themselves. Maybe they have good intentions, but they lie to themselves. They're not real with them, so they find themselves in situations where they pretend to be someone that they're not. They're doing this for years, so they believe it that this is what they are, right? That's why you find people in some situations stuck and doing certain things that makes no damn sense, but they still doing it. So at the end of the day, it's hard to find these people, right? But they are appreciated. So I guess it will be indicated. It will be a wise thing to do to actually start early on this path of doing things on your own, by yourself, figuring out by yourself, with your own mind, whatever you can. Just understand that there's nobody in this world like you. I know it sounds like a cliche. I know we are tribal human beings, right? We try to always gang up, always group up, getting big communities, whatever, live together. But and so therefore you kind of try to you have this common mentality, right? Where you agree on certain things or not. But at the end of the day, we have this uh, tendency to, kind of get together because we have things in common, right? So, but at the end of the day, your journey is yours, unique to you. So, the only way you can actually achieve anything is through staying focused and perseverance through your own craft, whatever it is that comes from inside. So, you keep that light on, and eventually you will amount to something, right? So, success is not something that it's not a target, right? Because a lot of people ask them. I've seen people thinking like success is some sort of achievement, like oh now you have success. Success is a mentality, really. It's a way of life, right? It's not something that you just achieve and you put it on your wall. That's like a checkpoint. It's like you reach that point of and you get that like a trophy or something, right? Or a medal or diploma. That's just because you've been doing things in a certain way, and the only way this world can reward you is by attesting it somehow. So therefore, they give you this object, right? But this object means nothing, really. It's just confirmations of that you're doing what you're supposed to do, at least to a certain extent, right? Because obviously, in certain situations, there are a lot of scammers that they make think that this is what it really means, that shit, right? But in certain situation, yeah, it definitely that's what it is, right? But we do need some sort of motivation, right? Otherwise, it's an ongoing situation. So therefore, we establish these checkpoints so that you sort of feel some sort of gratification, like you're being rewarded, right? That's why when they train dogs, they give them a little treat. Your your little treat, maybe if you do YouTube, for example, it's a button. That's your little treat. Okay, let's just put it say as it is. Then you go instead of eating the button, you put it on the wall. Obviously, you can't eat the button, but you get the point, right? It's a rewarding system in place to attest your success. That's what it is. But the success you have in it because of your lifestyle. You created the lifestyle through small steps, right? Through habits. A habit is being created every day. It takes 27 days, 21 days to create a habit, and you have to do it every day. That's what the science says, not me. So then, I guess you have to think about doing it one day, right? So then you break it down to the point of what is manageable for you, right? So then, best way to do it is to keep it simple in order to achieve something. So then you have a win, you take a W, and then you have another win, and then you have another win, and so on, right? Sometimes you have fail, but then you understand, you get some data from there, and understand what happened differently, and you add it, you record that, so that you work on that and you improve on that, and then next time you come up, it's a W, and that's how it goes, right? Now sometimes you have some losses in a row. Now ideally, if you have once, you lost once or twice, you should change your strategy or something. You shouldn't just keep losing, right? So it's up to you how you're doing it, but the point is that you only do things because you win. That's that's how it goes. You walk this earth with a winning mentality, with winning in your mind. Unless you win, you're not gonna do it. Unless you think you win, at least, right? You convinced that you're gonna win, bro. You leave this world with this mentality. Otherwise, you're not doing it. It's not for you. You just leave it alone. Do something else that makes sense. Because all that matters for you is to win, to have success, to have this habit of building you to build a habit of being successful, right? And when you walk obviously the world like this, when you have a habit of being successful, things will happen for you in ways that you don't even understand how, right? And people will join. You'll help whenever you need some help. It will come up out of nowhere because you are on a winning streak, because there's potential, because credibility, trust, loyalty, whatever you have gathered, all this progress that you've been making, right? So when you do that, obviously, with time, it's gonna be easier and easier. So you're gonna always try to reach more, because that's how our brain works. You basically have to hack in your brain to put it in a good in the positive mind state, right? So how do you do that? You always search for small wins so that he understands that, oh, this is good, right? So in a sense, he keeps looking for good things, right? So then he builds up on a positive way, and eventually, whatever you put your mind to it, you can achieve, right? Sometimes, because you always have this mentality, right? You always think, oh, I think I'm gonna do that, and you're successful on it, and then you realize, oh, I've done it, I've been taking a good decision, so therefore next time I'm gonna do the same. So you out of nowhere you will find the resources to get it done because you are programmed to be successful, right? If you are not programmed to be successful, even the smallest things, and you're programmed to be a loser, even the smallest things will seem like a struggle, which is ridiculous because clearly the smallest things shouldn't be a struggle for you, right? But if you ain't got the program right, if it's chaos in there, nothing seems right, right? So, yeah, even if you have nothing going on, you still need to aim to win. Doesn't matter. Anything you do, I don't, it doesn't matter if you just brew a cup of coffee. When you do it like a winner, not as a loser. You know what I mean? Everything, because it starts with small things, right? So everything you do has to be coming with this in your head. It can't be failure, it can't be on the line. If you fail, it's because you haven't done something correctly, because you have to improve something, something intervene, something, there's a system, functional system there that's supposed to work. And then why? You're asking yourself, why it didn't work, right? But if it's something that you can fix, right? My opinion, right? If you can figure out why it didn't work for five, in your first 5 minutes that you spend time on figuring it out. Obviously, when you ask yourself a question, you be ready to take some notes because there are answers coming, right? So, ideally, you want to put it on a notebook or something on your computer or anything like that on your phone, and you ask yourself, why didn't why I hasn't haven't been successful when I choose to do this, right? And some answers will come in your head, right? You just write it down, bam, 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 and then keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. Get that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of questions, whatever it works for you, right? But me personally, if it doesn't come in the first 5 minutes, I doubt it that it's gonna come in the 15 minute, right? It's just it's not there. The information is not there. So I guess you'll have to go find it, find the answer, right? But the point is that you put it down, you write it down, you're looking at it, and you understand what's the problem, and you fix it, right? But you gotta be honest with yourself. You can't be lying to yourself, because otherwise, if you lie to yourself, you're not gonna get anywhere, right? So when you have an answer, then you know what to do. You know how to fix it. You'll find a way to fix it. If you don't know, somebody else has a solution to your problem for sure, right? So that's how you get to the point of succeeding, basically, by interrupting the flow of losing, first of all, right? So you keep that you keep that winning mentality, and whenever it happens, right? It's a case. Sometimes you lose, you learn from it, you put it in practice next time from the lessons you learned, and you're going to win because you adjusted, right? If you don't adjust, what do you think is gonna happen? You're gonna lose again. If you don't adjust enough, you don't find the right solution to the problem, you're definitely gonna lose again. So at least you have big chances to lose again, right? So your chances should be towards winning most of the time when you do something, right? So yeah, do not be comfortable in losing. Don't think because you're down people will help you. Don't think because you're down they're not gonna hit you on the ground. Don't think because don't worry about it. If they see you down, they're gonna let you down. Otherwise you wouldn't see bombs on the street, bro. Okay? It's simple. There are people that have hundreds of apartments, lofts, whatever, and people that are sleeping on the streets, literally, with children's or poor or all that. They don't give a fuck. So don't worry about what people think. What people think, because if people don't give a fuck, don't think, don't when you're down, right? They don't give a fuck. They don't help. They don't do nothing, but they even make it worse if possible, right? If you allow them, then why would you worry when you have success? Don't worry about people, okay? I guess one of the metrics that you should consider is when haters come up, when haters pop up, that means you're doing something right. Because hater never hated on somebody that was inferior to them, that was doing things that didn't bother them at all because, had nothing to do with it. They always have want something. They see something in you that they don't have. That they always see. The moment they see some superiority or something like that, they see you doing right. They see some potential. They potential you could change. They will have to up the game. Whatever. I don't know. They'll find some reason to hate, right? They will be hating. So I guess that's one way for you to understand. Oh, a confirmation. Oh, thank you very much. That means I'm gonna still keep doing that. That's because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe some people they just hating naturally at this point, but they just natural haters. But yeah, I don't know um, if for some reason the haters are hating on broke people that they are just inferior and that they have nothing going on, right? The moment you have something going on, they're gonna start hating, man. All right, even if you have a small thing, even if whatever you got, they see something good in you, something they start talking shit, right? But anyways, so yeah, don't worry about people first of all, because they never been you, they never had your life. You should never be worried about their life either. If you only worry about those that they're there to support you. You see them supporting you, you support them back, you connect with them, anything like that. And you help each other up. At the end of the day, if you think about it, what life is basically is just your ability to stay loyal to others and how you get together to the point of being consistent in your relationship with them and creating this bond that basically prevails the challenges of time. That's what in life, whatever the life throws it at us, at you, right? So that's what it is. You have this support net that you create with your own principles. So you have your principles first before you have the support net, right? You don't. I mean, sometimes say you get born in it, but if you ain't got the principles, they're gonna kick you out. Because we've seen so many situations when you know the parents build a support net that the children's didn't agree with or didn't like you or whatever, and they just abusing it, and then they just got kicked out of it because of the shame and damage that they were bringing to the already constructed network, right? So it's at the end of the day, it's nice to have people around and to help you, but it's a matter of principle. That's what brings people together, right? Common ideas, common principles, common skills, common ideology. I just said that. Anyways, so you have to get it done by yourself, to be honest. That's how it goes. If you want to be successful, nobody's going to give you success on the platter, man. You're going to have to learn everything by yourself. And the more you into it, the more you learn, develop these patterns that will help you do it, the better you get at it. So eventually, I guess you will be successful. And whatever you choose to do, right? It's inevitable because you're gonna have better ways of doing certain things than others, and you reach those checkpoints sooner, better, faster than others do. That's all that it is to it. It's not really rocket science, to be honest. And even rocket science, it's simple if you think about it. You learn that shit as well. And yeah, all these gurus trying to sell you a course, sell you this thousands. The amount of money they're asking for is fucking ridiculous. And they become a millionaire, I guess. And then they dare to come from a place where uh, they talk about success because they told you the same shit that you could have found for free. But you were dumb enough to pay hundreds or thousands for it. A lot of people do consigliere. They do this one-on-one sessions. They basically they get to a point, to one of these checkpoints, and they sell their expertise in one-on-one calls, and they charge you for it, right? Like you will get illuminated or something, and it is a matter of belief system really, and a matter of, it's a political thing, to be honest, because you could say, oh, I've done this course with that guy, I've been on a call with that guy, but when you're on the call with that guy, it's not like you really figure out, I don't know what, you probably knew that already, and it will basically help you a little bit towards one thing. But if you had been focused enough, eventually you would have find it yourself. Because it's like a plant growing, right? Inevitably, it's bound to grow. Yeah, sometimes there's something stopping it, but once if you keep going, eventually that thing will disappear. You'll break through. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to throw shade on people that are doing this for a living, obviously. For me, it doesn't make no sense to pay thousands for a one-on-one call with some guy to tell you two, three things when you could find out by yourself. But some people are thinking that that's the way, so can't blame them. But at the end of the day, as I said, it's you that needs to put in the work, man. So don't get fooled by the ways of the world, but focus on your own ways. Okay, I guess. Because otherwise you'll be distracted, and the only way that you can achieve anything is to put your mind to it. And now with the AI, it becomes harder and harder to be allowed to put your mind to it, because if before this we were looking up to people that will have a certain expertise in a certain, some before this, right, up until AI came up popular, we all kind of look up to people that they were smarter than us, don't we? We look for expertise, we will pay for the expertise, or even for the little through a conversation that I just mentioned, through the books, to whatever, right? Whatever the material they put together to actually pass that information over, right? Wherever you go, you will find people that they have a certain expertise. There will be levels of knowing, right, that we actually promote and we actually look up to, right? But we're all humans at the end of the day. We all have limits, right? And with the AI now, since there's this machinery that can get certain things done better than us, we all now have to fight that as well. So now it's not a competition with yourself, but also with the super machine that people are using, and you have to convince them to be like, oh, I'm better than AI, which is ridiculous because clearly in most cases you're not. So I guess now you have to bring up something more to the table than a normal machine would, right? Like a personality that is unique humans, and the AI can't actually replicate it, right? So, the struggle gets real because if up until some time now, it was a situation where people were like struggling to get in high places because relationships, because there was some system in place that would only promote certain people, with certain qualities and skills and reputation and stuff like that. And at least you will be finding a job in the lower brackets, right? You will be like, okay, maybe I'm not focusing on that, but at least something I get done, since I get some bread on the table. Now it's going to get harder and harder because people will always look for their interests, their profits, and there's going to be a lot of gaps, and even on that level, on the higher level, right? So all those smart guys, all those guys that usually they were doing great at their job and whatever, they've been left out as well. So now what do you think they're gonna do? They have to feed the families. They have all that whatever's going on. Someone saying whatever they build up, right? So now they're gonna come down to the lower brackets where you had a chance. Now you don't have a chance there either, right? So I guess you're still in the lower bracket, right? But you have to push towards all those smart guys as well, the fucking machinery, and yourself, right? So you got three battles to win, really. So at this point, then the competition becomes really, really serious unless you really focus on something. So my opinion is that the early, the faster you get on something, one thing, and you get that perfected to the point of having some sort of expertise, some sort of advantage when to dominate the competition, the better it is. Because otherwise, seeing with it's just gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be hard, and there's nobody to complain on. Like you complain to who? Ain't nobody listening. Nobody gives a fuck. You do what? You protest, you revolt. They have fucking machineries. They should the type of weapons that they invented is crazy. We can't fight a tank with a sword. The fuck you think you're doing? You ain't got the weapons to fight against them. So even if you have numbers, it doesn't matter. Okay? Even if you got numbers, it doesn't matter. They will fuck you up. Alright? And I'll tell you this much. The moment people start dying, you're gonna think twice if you really want this battle with them. And they have no mercy. They're just fucking robots. They're acting like fucking. They obey orders that they come from upstairs. And that's it. For them, they're justified to kill you. You're just a criminal for them. And that's it. So there's no way to fight this against this machinery. Which feeds itself, by the way, in a experiment that some university put together. There was some students that they've been put in a prison and they've been separated between playing the guard and the inmates, right? So after 2 weeks of doing that, the guards, which were students, this wasn't a real life scenario, they had to stop the experiment because the guards were doing too much. They were thinking like they are real or something, they start to act crazy about the job, take the job too seriously. So even though they were in the same situation, this was only an experiment, right? They knew it was a fucking experiment. They still doing it. Now think about real life. What do you think these guys are doing? The moment they put their clothes on, that's it. They have fighting mode. Rules, regulations, whatever suits them clearly, because it's not like it comes up in their heads. Always be, keep your human side, respect the law, but keep it, keep being human. It's whatever this suits them, man. Okay, if it suits them to be human, they're gonna be human. It's to keep to push the law in front of you, they'll push the law in front of you. It doesn't matter for them, right? So that's just proof that humans, they can't be trusted like that. All right. So don't expect the officials to do anything. They don't give a fuck. Eventually, they're gonna join the trend and they're gonna build uh, AI robots as cops, and you will see them on the streets in certain places. They will be like uh, commanding them at the command center. They don't even get off the fucking cars anymore or something. You know what I mean? It will get worse and worse, man. So you have to fight yourself in the new world. You can't expect for them to give it to you. That's not gonna happen anymore. So the only way to do it is to stay focused on your own talent given, right? Whatever burns inside you, and nurture that fire until it becomes a flame, and you go up flaming, right? So you go up in flames, right? When you go up in flames, maybe, right? Right. So yeah, I guess the only way you can do it, at least that's you. That's for sure. Might not be the greatest, might not be, I don't know what, but at least it's you. You've done you have some sort of advantage over the others. You have your competence, your methods. You know what you're doing, and that's about it. And I guess even if you've been doing this for, I don't know, you have to adapt now. You have to understand what's what's coming. At least you get a rough idea, because nobody knows exactly what's coming. But there's some projections, right? You just look on them and pick something and just stick with it, learn it, master it, and have your place at the table. That doesn't mean you're gonna have that place at the table all the time. That doesn't mean they're not gonna try to take it away from you. Don't worry about that. That doesn't mean that you're not gonna find obstacles every single fucking day. That doesn't mean that. Okay? But at least you'll be at the table, right? You'll be sitting there and have your own life according to your own decisions and stuff. Instead of complaining outside in the rain when they have guns pointed at you and you can't do nothing about it. Right? I think so. I mean, it would be a wise thing to do. I don't know, man. If you can do it, then do it. Don't expect them to give you anything, and because they're not. They're not gonna give, and whatever they give you, it's never enough. Okay, because it has to come from inside you. That's why. All right. So yeah, I guess that's what success looks like. Success looks like you being yourself, right? To the best of your abilities. Operate to the best of your abilities. Don't sleep on it. And eventually, yeah, that's pretty much it. Successful. What success is.